you find people saying stuff like, oh, she's so blessed to have him. Yet they don't know that it's actually the other way around. I'm the one blessed to have you. Because when we met, just for those that are just tuning in for the first time or just recently followed us, when we met, we had nothing. Okay, I personally had nothing. Some of you know the story. I wrote about it in my book. I was in a one room, and there was a time where my wife paid rent for me, But that time she was not yet my wife. She paid rent for me, and I remember I raised money to buy her books. You remember? Yeah. Those days, right? And I've never shared that one with anybody.
No.
Yeah. So let's talk about this, baby. A lot of people are here. We have more than 1,000 people watching on my screen right here. We have about 1,100 people watching, and that's on the tick. But behind the scene, it's more than that. One thing that I've been seeing on my inbox, especially on Instagram, people asking to say we are dealing with so many challenges financially. What can you say to a couple? I want us to start here because now we are dealing with serious issues. We are not dealing with funny stuff and auditioning for marriage. How do you audition for marriage? It's another story for another day.
Okay.
We are dealing with serious things that affects people, that can change people's lives because at the end of the day, not every problem is subject to prayer. Some of our problems are subject to wisdom. And I believe that today what we'll be gushing out here is wisdom.
The first thing that we need to look at, since we are doing a general, outlook, whether married, whether children, whether no children, is what is the key thing that is causing you to be in that financial crisis? What is the key factor that is causing you to have a financial strain? Because everybody don't just wake up and they have a financial crisis. There should be a cause. There should be that one thing that actually brought you into that state. So once you are able to identify the main thing that brought you into that state, then it's very easy for you to find the solution into your problem.
So at this point in time, I believe that makes sense. I believe I hear you very well. If you have a problem financially, you really need to check what led you to that. Yes, before you try to say, yeah, I have a problem here. Because some of these things, I really hear you and understand you because there are people who are in financial crisis right now just because they overspend.
Just because they overspend.
So I really understand what you are saying. So one must really check.
One must really check. And even, and remember, when now we are talking about two people who are in a relationship, sometimes a relationship financially is affected by one person.
Okay, repeat that.
Sometimes a relationship financially, to have that financial crisis is because of one person in the relationship. And it's because probably somebody doesn't know how to spend, or they are overspending, or they are spending money that they don't even have.
Oh,
just
powerful.
To impress, or just to shine, or whatsoever reason.
So there are people who are in financial crisis in their marriage, in their relationship, not because they were supposed to have those problems,
because they were supposed to have
but
those
because
problems.
they spend money that they don't have.
Money that they don't have.
And sometimes you can have a partner who just overspends.
Who just overspends.
Spends money on things that they don't need. That's very powerful, just to shine.
Just to shine.
I believe in our generation, in the times that we live in at this point in time, a lot of people are living a fake rich life, and that gets them real broke.
That's true.
And that's because of social media. One just has to flex sometimes. Kids don't have money for a school fees, but the father will just want to buy a Gucci, a Louis Vuitton. You know what I mean? Just so that wherever the person appears to be something that they are not.
Something that they are not.
And that does not just affect that person, but affects the people connected to that person. Because at the end of the day, when reality knocks, social media is not involved. When reality knocks, the people that you're trying to impress, they are not involved. And it's very good for you to be real with yourself. Because sometimes one will say, but how do I know that I'm spending money that I don't have? because I like it and I can get it, I can buy it. How do I know I'm overspending? It's very simple. If you can buy it twice, you can afford it. If you can buy it twice, you can afford it. So you know definitely you can afford something if you can buy it twice. And sometimes you can buy it twice, but just because you can, it does not mean you should go for it, okay? Invest. I think we spoke about that when we spoke about relationships and money, how to invest and, how to open different accounts and who runs what and how from zero, to another level.
Yes, we did.
Yes, I think that's powerful. And one of the things as well that I wanted to talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, about, and I believe, Iron Lady, you will add what you have or what you will add, is a lot of people are going through a lot, especially women, to be quite honest with you. Women are going through a lot. And one thing about women is most women, when they love for real. What can you say, so to say, to a young lady or a woman here who has been rejected or facing rejection in their life, in a sense of not really rejected, but heartbroken so many times that every time when they get in a new relationship, things seem to be fine. But every time when the relationship gets in the middle, things they go hazy and crazy. And they are the ones who are hurt most of the time, and they give their best. Because somebody might be watching us at this point in time and they are feeling this thing of love does not work. It's because they've been hurt so many times. And I'm not saying guys are not being hurt, but if we were to look at the stats right now, women are the ones who are actually victimized here, right? So who are victims here. So what can you really say to that woman before I say whatever I wanted to say? I don't know if that makes sense to you. Do you get what I'm saying?
It does make sense.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
It does make sense.
Okay.
Rejection is a big issue in a lot of people. Let me put it like that. Both
Okay.
men and women.
Okay.
But at this point in time, we are looking into the women's side.
Okay.
Once you feel rejected, you feel like it's the end of the world. You feel like you can't move on. But I want every woman listening right now to say, rejection is an emotional state that you, as a person, you need to know how to manage it and how to process it.
I heard you.
You see, once you know how to manage it and how to process it, it's very easy for you to move forward. So most women or most ladies, the reason why they are stuck in anger, in that state that they have been put in, which is the state of rejection, is because they have not yet discovered how to manage rejection and how to process it. So in that way, it affects them. And not forgetting that rejection can come from a lot of things. And sometimes because you have been rejected so many times and you don't know how to manage it, you don't know how to process it, even small things becomes rejection.
So sometimes because one cannot handle rejection, right? Also, the mere fact that they can't handle rejection, every small conflict in their relationship becomes rejection.
Even small little things becomes rejection because you don't know how to handle it.
So the issue here is not for somebody to feel to feel sorry for somebody here, but is to build and equip somebody to know how to handle it. Because one way or the other, you will come across it.
One way or the other. Yes.
Whether from family.
Yes.
Rejection is something that we
everywhere.
all come across.
Yes.
And it matters how we deal with it.
It matters. It matters. In order for you to move forward, in order for you to, to grow and develop, you need to know how to overcome rejection.
And also, while you're in the process of overcoming it, I don't know if I'm ruining your message, but this is what I believe. While you're in the process of overcoming it, learn to forgive yourself.
Learn to forgive yourself.
Yeah, learn to forgive yourself for accepting less than what you deserve. So because sometimes you can just settle just so that you can say you have something. You get the point.
I get it.
And you know that you deserve better, but because at that moment you felt you were so much alone and you were lonely, then you had to kind of settle just so that you can say you have something. And right after that, when things did not go well, you get so offended to an extent that you can't even forgive yourself to try again or to even give somebody a chance in your life.
True.
So rejection is a big thing. I think we
is a
need
big
to
thing.
deal with rejection because alone on its own. Because one person once asked me a question and said, "What is discipline in a relationship?" So I think rejection and discipline is something that we really need to come back for.
Most definitely.
If you have not shared the broadcast, share the broadcast right now. It will help somebody. Trust me. There's a huge difference between somebody who is loyal and somebody who is patient. You see, when I am patient, I don't mind waiting. But now, my waiting is based on promise. Now, let me define that.
Wow.
The Bible speaks about faith. But we need to understand that there is no faith without hope.
Yes.
And there is no way that there can be hope without promise. Okay? Faith on its own is built on promise. You have faith because there is a promise. If you remove promise, there is no faith. And I've thought about this for so long, right? I'll give you another example before you hear what I'm saying. Before I married my wife, what I did was I engaged her. And after engaging her, that was a promise. So the engagement ring, it was actually a promise ring. What was I promising my wife? Marriage. Was she taken? Not really. Was she promised? Yes. But everywhere she went, she told everybody she is taken. Why? Because it is a promise that takes somebody to a reality that has not yet taken place. It is a promise that takes you to a reality that has not yet materialized. So she acts and she behaves, she handles herself as somebody who is taken. So if somebody will stop by and say, "Hello, sister," she will just lift up her hand and say, "I'm off the market." Another one comes back and say with a Lamborghini Gallardo saying, "My sister, how are you?" She goes, "I'm off the market." But the truth of the matter is, she is not off the market. She is promised. But it is that promise that causes her to be patient to an extent that she rejects any opportunity and anything that comes away. It is the promise. So she's holding on to the promise. And I will mess her life and I will have messed her life if I decide to break that promise. Now, the reason why she's rejecting everyone is not that maybe she loves me too much. It's because of promise. I'll give you another example. You are going to church, and I've said this before. I come, peep, 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 peep. You come out of the window. Look, I'm coming back. I'm going to give you a ride, and we are going to go together to church. If somebody comes by, beep, 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 let's go to church. You come out and tell the person, "I have a ride. I already have a transport. I already have a car." The truth of the matter is you don't have a car. You don't have a transport. You have a promise. But that promise is so powerful that it's causing you to be patient, to reject stuff. I don't know if that makes sense. Are you getting what I'm saying right here?
Oh, yes.
And trust me, it does not matter who comes with what. Once you have a promise takes you to a reality that has not yet taken place.
That has not yet taken place.
So now, where there is promise, there is patience. So you can never be patient until there is a promise. But then again, loyalty now
My God.
is a different story. Hence, I started by saying integrity in our time is a rare virtue.
It's a rare
Just
virtue.
because somebody prays with you, it doesn't mean that they're genuine. Now you're about to hear me. So a lot of people in our time, they are not loyal. They are patient. You know, being patient sometimes has to do with you waiting for something to happen. As much as patience is there because of promise. Promise is waiting for something to happen. So there are people in relationships, in marriages, married to people, married to other people, not because they are loyal, but because they are patient, waiting for something to happen. And if there be a delay in what they were promised,
Yes.
they start feeling like you have wasted their time. It is not just a matter of the both of us building something together. I mean it because you promised me something.
So once the promise is delayed,
Once the promise is tampered with, even their loyalty becomes questionable. In a sense of, I'll give you another example. Somebody got married to somebody knowing that this person works, this person is earning this much,
Yes.
and as time goes by, this person is going to get promoted, and this person is going to get this much. And in their mind, they are thinking, when this person is getting this much, this is the kind of life I'm going to live. And when this person goes to another dimension, this is the kind of life I'm going to live. And because now men have it, most men, they love to promise. Are you getting the point?
yes.
And it's not because they are just giving empty promises. Of course, you have those minor empty promises and guys who are not really serious at all about life. But I'm talking about genuine guys here who promise, and if something goes wrong, it does not mean they were really responsible. It's just that it was out of their control. It was beyond their control. And most men, you know, because they are visionaries, they are seeing something that has not taken place. And they try by all means to take their women with to that reality. To say, don't look at me based on what I have. I know that there are better men out there that you can go for, but there is something that awaits you and I, and as a leader, I'm going to take us there.
I hear you.
Most men, you know, they have that in them. But then again, my baby, you get now people who don't have loyalty at all in them.
In them.
As long as you are entertaining their ego, right? You are entertaining what they are all about.
Yes.
They are for you.
Therefore you.
But once that now stops or something happens,
Yes.
guess what? You are now dealing with a different person.
With a different
Most
person.
people love to say this relationship is not working.
Yes.
Yet sometimes it's not the relationship not working. It's just you not working. I've seen people changing relationships, avoiding to change they themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said something right there.
That's so
Hashtag
true.
that.
Hashtag that one. Yeah. Yeah.
So most people will rather change relationships,
Then.
change people, avoiding they themselves changing. So they are changing relationships, making everybody look bad. Yet they themselves, the reason why they are jumping from one place to another is because they are avoiding changing they themselves. Because in life, it does not matter who you meet. If your character and your attitude is bad, I am telling you, it will come to nothing. It does not matter how good. Because sometimes, as much as we love to shift the blame to say, but it was that one, it was that one, it takes a real person to say, you know what, I messed up and I jacked up.
That's true. It takes a real person.
So I think it's one of those things that you need to really sit down and check yourself to say, am I loyal or am I patient? Because there are people who love you right now because of how you look. There are people who love you right now because of
what you have.
What you have and what you can do for them. And the access that they have to places by being with you.
Oh.
You know, there are people who are in love with other people, not because they love the person, but they know that the person is a key to many doors, to so many doors, that once I'm with that person, every door that I always wanted to go through, guess what, will automatically open because of that person. So there is no loyalty at all, especially in our generation. Our generation loves to arrive before it departs. And as a result, you don't have genuine people. You don't have people in our times now to say, I will build with you. It can take 10 years to get that 1 year that you guys have been waiting for. And at the very same time, it can take 5 years to get that 5 months that you guys have been waiting for. It might take us long. Listen to me. Fast things gets destroyed fast. As a matter of fact, quick success builds ego.
Yes.
But slow success builds character.
I have something that I wanted, your intake in,
Okay.
Doctor.
All right. Yes, babe.
Everybody wants a healthy relationship,
Okay.
you know,
Is
and
mom loud enough? All right. Okay.
everybody wants a healthy relationship, and we have so many women, so many men who are in an unhealthy relationship, and they are wishing for that healthy relationship. So I just wanted to, to have your perspective on it, to say, how does one develop a healthy relationship, or how do two people come together in order to, to have a healthy relationship?
You see, baby, it's thank you, love. That's
Okay.
a very powerful question. You see, as much as one would want a healthy relationship, how does one, develop or get to have a healthy lifestyle or a healthy life? Some have to go to the gym, some have to exercise. It's something that you work towards or you work on, right? It's not something that automatically happens. Of course, there are people that are healthy, not because they do anything, but in most cases, it always catches up with them. So some people will have to work hard to get that healthy life that they need, right? So even in a relationship, it's not something that one just jump in and prays to say, God, let me have, a happily after. Because prayer changes things. But in most cases, what people don't understand is prayer does not really, in most cases, change things. Prayer changes you, and you change things. So when you pray, you receive grace. Grace equips you so that you can change things, even in your relationship. Some people are praying and are binding and are loosing the devil in their relationship. Yet God is saying, but no, unless you change, whatever you're trying to deal with won't change. So when we deal with healthy relationship, understand that it's a process. It's not something that, to just give a simple answer. You need, number one, to be able to handle the dimensions of disagreement. Because in any relationship, as long as that relationship is going to be healthy, you are going to disagree. And some people, do you know that once you disagree with them, they feel attacked?
Yes.
And there are people who, once they disagree with you in a relationship, right? Once they disagree with you, they don't want you to express how you are feeling. And once you express how you are feeling, then they themselves, they feel attacked. So one has to know how to handle the dimensions of disagreement. And also, a healthy relationship is built on we syndrome, not I syndrome. Malcolm X said something very powerful. I quote, he said something. He said, when I is replaced with we, even illness becomes wellness.
Oh, yeah.
So, a healthy relationship is built on teamwork. We, not I. Because when your joy becomes my joy, I don't care, what happens. As long as I know that your happiness is my happiness. I know definitely that whatever we are dealing with, we are not fighting against each other. We are on the same side. So even when I attack or I try to address you, I'm not addressing you as my enemy. I'm not addressing you as somebody who's trying to look down on me or somebody who does not want me or wish me well. So I'm addressing you as somebody that I know that at the end of the day, you want to see me do good, you want to see me excel, and you want to see me in my best. So I don't feel that. So once you know how to handle that, trust me, baby, the rest will just fall into place.
Yes, that's so true.
It's one door
So true.
that once one unlocks it, the other doors open.
Wow.
So handling the dimensions of disagreement,
Disagreements.
I'm telling you, you'll have a healthy relationship.
I think that's a very important one. The other thing that I just want, few people to look at, which is something that we have experienced as well in our marriage, is the 3 key components of a healthy relationship. For like you said, for 2 people to have a really healthy relationship, they need to, handle disagreements. They need to know how to handle that part. At the same time, it's very much important for you to have, moral respect in a relationship, for you to have a healthy relationship. It's very important for you to have a moral trust between you and your partner in order for you guys to have a healthy relationship. It's very important for you to have a moral, affection in order for you guys to have a healthy relationship. And when we look at respect is broad. It's so broad. But the first thing that I want you to understand is in that healthy relationship, when we are talking about respect, we are talking about you being able to regard your partner in a higher position, not lower than you, but higher. And that when, you are able to have respect for each other, able to have a healthy relationship, because you look at each other highly, not lower. Whether you are a guy, whether you are a woman, you need to know how to look at your partner from a higher regard. Yes.
So respect, affection, and trust.
And trust.
Powerful stuff.
Yes.
That's powerful. And one of the things that I would say to ladies that, because we have counseled so many people, we have dealt with so many people. One of the things that I've learned is that girls want attention, women want respect. Know what you want.
Yeah. I see so many people, somebody says, how can I get your book, Apostle? You can go to Amazon, you can go to Apostle's website, www.mzwakhe.tancredi.org. The books are there on the website. The books are there on Amazon. The books are there as well on,
Kindle, Amazon Kindle, yeah.